on the Adventures of Gaia. Tak transported Pryo and Danus to Theon, where Danus spent some time with his family, while Pryo learned that he was being hunted by the Dark One. Tak explained that Pryo was stolen as a boy from the Theon, and that Tak's parents, founders of the city, had searched for him. According to Tak, Pryo was recently found, but with no memories. Concerned that the Dark One was still tracking Pryo and may seek him out in a Theon, Tak had assigned Danus to watch over Pryo and then left them both in the flooded city. He hinted that Pryo did have other friends, that perhaps the Dark One was after them too, but didn't know more. As they parted, he shared an old story of an emissary of the Dark One. Upon hearing this, the pair set off to hunt the evil. You decided it was best for you both to leave Theon. You bid your family goodbye. You bid your friends in Belize goodbye. Before you started to search for this Dark One that Tak mentioned, your only real clue was the story that Tak told you of his parents fighting in some temple in the Badlands. So you left everyone behind, and with a popping sound, you feel the ground fall from beneath your feet, and air rushes past you for a moment, and then you feel solid ground, and you see a pale blue sky above you. You're in amongst cracked landscape, and you see ahead of you that crack continues and breaks open, and you can see where the land starts to go downwards in amongst plateaus of almost mountains. The rock is brown. You see many suns up in the sky.
Oh, here we go. You ready for this?
Think so. Think they have enough suns in the sky?
1, 2. Adequate. Yeah, probably more than adequate. Yeah.
All right, let's get a look around.
Your little bat takes to the air. Pryo, for a second, you marvel at how wonderful it is that you have such a useful little junker bot. So you remember that in this image, you were to head towards these ravines and canyons, towards some kind of hatch or something that is where the Dark One resides or was looked for, or his parents fought. Again, it was a lot of memories, and they were quite secondhand.
Looks to see through his visor what Batty is seeing in just the general area. Is there any people in the area? Are we alone?
Your bat is flying around up top and starts to do the standard circle that you have it do to make sure there's no one quite close by, and then tends to head forward in the direction that you intend to go. There seems to be no one within immediate vicinity. So he starts to head towards that main crack you can see ahead.
I indicate Batty to hold kind of there and wait for us, and we go in that direction.
All right. You start traveling that way.
So, did you like going home? No? Really?
Did you?
I have a feeling the next time I go back, it's going to be even sweeter. You know, just after we do, if we make it back, right? But after we do what we're setting out to do, the look on my pop's face, right? His eyes going every which way this time because he doesn't know what to think. Yeah. But no, I like seeing Ma.
Don't get along with your father?
We get along, but in varying degrees.
At least you remember yours.
Yeah, yep. I kind of start, kicking some rocks as I walk along because didn't expect the conversation to go there.
Pryo didn't mean to upset Danus, so he quickly changes the subject. It was odd. I wanted to feel something. feel like it was home, feel like I remembered it, but to tell you the truth, it seemed like a new place to me, other than some of the memories of this scar. He touches the white scar. I didn't remember much of a thing about it.
Sorry to hear that.
Pryo shrugs.
Hey, maybe after this is all said and done, that'll change. Or if not, then once you have some closure, or if you feel that way, then you can move on to whatever else you want to do, I suppose.
Well, if this dark one is using me as bait to get at my friends I can still feel, but I don't even remember, then I aim to hunt this dark one down. I'm not going to be anyone's bait.
It's nice of you sticking your neck out for people you don't know or can't remember. It says a lot.
Pryo stops. Hadn't really considered that. Well, he keeps going.
Batty is sitting up on, there's these piles of sort of rocks, and Batty is perched on top of one and is just looking down the ravine that you'll be walking down, cycling through the different types of vision to watch for any heat signals or movement. Again, you're having a bit of problem in this land with the heat, given that there's so many suns beating down. The rock has heated up quite a bit.
Okay, Pryo notices that Danus doesn't have anything to cover his head, and he grabs a kerchief out of his bag and says, "Here."
Oh, hey, thank you.
And he reaches in and
look
he has
odd.
an old pair of bone desert visors. He goes, "Oh yeah, I don't know where I got this from, but," gives it to him.
What? How can you describe how these look?
They're essentially bone with like holes scratched in it, with like tied on sticks to put on your face. It's very outer rim, but it will keep all the glare out of your eyes and let you just see out of a little slits in the visor.
Wow. All right, biker it is. I put them on.
A rare gift from Pryo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want those back.
How much? Okay. I won't break them as I move them around on my face, realizing how like slightly flimsy they are.
Yes, very.
Yeah.
I won't break them. Snap. Whoops.
Yeah.
You make it up to where Batty's sitting about 200 meters ahead of where you've hit now. You can see yourselves approaching in his vision, Pryo.
No targets in sight. See if we can find some clues.
As he says that, I'll start looking around on the ground. No other footprints, no signs of kicked up rocks, dirt, dust, any sort of UV that's like, oh, somebody took I don't know, they vomited under the sun. I don't know. I'm shooting for anything I can look at.
Awesome. Tracks and vomit. Kate, you can roll your detective off of your highest sensory stat.
Oh, that's good. Oh, fantastic. You're going to love this. 96. So that's a critical fail. I needed Beautiful. A 150. That's great. So these glasses, I can't, I'm trying to look around, but they keep sliding off, right? And I have to readjust them, and then it's just, it's not working.
And you're slightly worried that you'll break them. So you are being careful. You're looking around in the way that you've seen Pryo looking, and you've got these little slits you're looking through on these bone, very, very outer rim creations. Mm-hmm. Pryo, you notice Danus looking around, and kind of the beginnings of a detective or a tracker.
Pryo chuckles to himself. What does Pryo see?
Not play restoral, because we might get another 96.
No, I rolled 30, which is a critical.
You watch Danus, and then you look down where he was examining, and you do see some kicked up dirt, what would indicate beings have gone through here. The the soil is quite hard, but you do see where there's the odd kick and break in the land that really would only be noticeable to someone who is much more adept at tracking and accustomed to looking for this. And some are quite old, but there are some recent ones.
Going in the direction we're going, or going cross path?
Going through and down, you've just come into that ravine. So everything headed this way does have to go in the ravine. This is where the land has changed slightly, hence you can start to see some tracks where soil has accumulated here and there as the wind whips through.
Okay, Pryo kind of goes down on his haunches and kind of checks these tracks out a little bit and then looks around and keeps going.
Danus, when you see where Pryo's looking, you do lift your very fashionable outer rims glasses and look, and you see what he's keyed onto. You're like, ugh.
It's a mixture between, if I didn't have these glasses, I would have seen that. I feel like maybe, but man, I also don't want to take them off because they, it's nice that this is a gesture of kindness, right? So this is a rarity. We went from dagger to the throat to here, use my glasses. So,
all right, your bat takes off and is able to give you an aerial image. So you've come through from the east side of the map. Quite a few valleys and openings. Some of Pryo's the one actually seeing this because he has his UAV in the air. He's actually hit about as far as up here and hasn't gone too much further because there's more indication of traffic up through here. So he's actually come and perched upon this plateau here. He's clinging to the side of it. They raise quite high. Your little circles are not to scale. You're quite a bit smaller, but I want you to be able to see them. The walls tower quite a bit above you.
Okay, which way do we need to go based on the memory I have?
You have a strong feeling to head towards this area this way.
The priest is this way and starts at a good pace.
Ooh, okay. Start doing the jog thing, the healthy distance behind him, because I figure once the jog starts, we're going to be jogging for quite some time.
You send your UAV bat around the corner, and it gives you back more land. You see up ahead. That is the response I like, +1. You see more cracking of the land ahead. Off in this distance here, he hasn't quite gone this far, but you see giant. Yeah, at first you thought they were structures of some sort, but they're quite a bit of giant bones of, if they are bones of creatures that must have towered even above the cliff walls, the ravine walls that you are within right now. You also see some large craters in the earth. Roll a PR.
11. That is definitely a critical.
Through the vision of your bat, you look at them, and just from the angle he is at, quite a bit above, you can tell that those were some serious either spells or bombs or something that had cracked open the land in this area and created these large craters. He also, you see, there's quite a bit of action up to this ravine to the north, and you can see some remnants of something up there, perhaps some kind of stronghold or not even a town, but a little village. And that is definitely where the concentration of quite a bit of this battle damage seems to be.
And is it newer looking battle damage or very old?
Ancient battle damage, but it was such an extreme, so violent that it has left a serious mark on the landscape.
Okay, Pryo squints, takes his goggles off, and gives them to Danus.
Okay, yeah, and I try and hold them up with the other glasses still on my face, and as somebody personally, I don't use glasses in real life, so it's like super weird to have two pairs on my face at once. So I can totally relate here. where he's just like, okay, what am I looking at? Why is it darker? What is this?
Josh is laughing. Prio's like,
Yeah.
You notice those huge, at first, again, you think, oh, there must have been some kind of buildings here with large timbers or some sort. And then you realize they're enormous bones.
Okay, so then I guess you heard me when I responded to the map. So the response that you're probably going to hear is, hey, those kind of look like, oh my goodness, those are huge. Those are bones. Here, did you see these? And I'll hand the glasses back like, wow, look what I just saw.
It's exciting to you, Danus. A new place and new things.
okay.
I've never seen anything like that.
Prio's kind of like, yeah. He crumbles something under his breath. Then he jogs to the north so he can come around the corner and see it for himself.
Now I will pull out my sniper rifle just because what I'm going to do is when I turn the corner, I want to be able to look at them and just, with my own eyes, look for UV, just to confirm in my own mind that this has been an ancient fight.
All right. You come around the corner. Pryo Danus is pulled back. He's pulled out the sniper. You scope in across the way. You see movement ahead. Pryo, at the same time, of course, through Batty's eyes, he has come around that corner with you. You see movement of people coming ahead. They seem to be moving rather quickly. You see a large man. He's at least 6 feet tall, if not 7. He's got purple skin and almost matching hair, quite a large belly, and 3 solid black eyes. He's got, through your sniper scope and through Batty's eyes, you can both see he's got some tusks coming out of his lower jaw. He's got robes of sort, more traveling gear than any kind of religious robes. You also see a smaller being, about 5 feet, 5.5 feet. You see the glint of metal, particularly through your sniper, of some kind of robot parts. You do recognize that there is a fleshy arm, so it must be some cybernetic adaptation. There's also 4 other robed or cloaked beings that are also wearing travel goggles over their eyes. They seem to be moving fairly quickly straight towards you guys.
Okay. How many in total?
6.
And they are armed with melee weapons?
You see no weapons on them to speak of.
And how far are they?
They're about 500 meters or so off, maybe a little bit more.
Okay, that's half a kilometer.
Yep. They seem to be trying to stick. They've moved close to the wall, the ravine wall, so they go a little bit in and out of your vision as the ravine, the land juts out and goes back in.
Okay, are they trying to sneak up on us? Are they calling to us? Are they not even looking at us? Just kind of...
You've not seen any indication that they have seen you at all.
They seem to be a motley crew?
Yes, they definitely do. They are coming just around this edge here.
What do you think these numbnuts are all about?
I don't necessarily want to be out here making friends. I don't know about you. I look at him with a smile, like...
Pryo laughs for what he's like... Okay.
+1 for making Pryo laugh.
I send Batty a little further behind them to see if they're running from something.
Oh, good thinking. +1.
My whole body's tense because he's laughing. that doesn't he's the guy that says, like, let's get out of here, and then like starts to look for clues. He's the guy that like is like, I have an idea, and goes straight in like with no plan. Almost. Obviously, it makes sense, but I miss it.
When Prio's laughing, he's about to murder someone usually. So.
Yeah. Like he's laughing. That means something very sad has happened.
Right.
He takes flight and goes long just above that plateau. So if he swoops out, he could see down where they are, and he swoops in and around. He makes a bit of a loop towards the edge, which would be the edge of your your distance vision communication with him anyways, with Batty. And he doesn't see anything moving.
I see no reason to make friends, as my esteemed colleague Danus said. And so I go, shh, and we just duck into a ravine where I know we can hide. If they see us, they see us. If they don't, they don't. I mean,
Sounds good.
Half of me wants to talk to them, half of me doesn't want to. So we'll let fate decide.
Fate, aka GM.
What?
They come within earfall.
You do hear some quieted voices, nothing too loud, but they don't seem to speak very often. And you see one of the shorter, fully cloaked, so you can't see much of their actual, much like you, Pryo, quite cloaked for traveling, comes around the corner and lays eyes on both of you, slows.
Pryo says, "Hail, friend. We mean you no harm."
They put their hands up as well. And around the corner comes that tusked, larger individual. Looks to see immediately where the other shorter one was. And the smaller one with the cybernetic arm, which comes around and you fully see it is a metal cybernetic arm. The being also has cybernetic around implants and such around her eye. She's got quite dark chocolate golden skin and super bright pink hair.
Are they still unarmed?
Yep, they still seem to have.
Or does our UV tell us that they have weapons hidden here or there?
Roll your detective.
33.
You can tell that the four cloaked figures, the fully cloaked figures, do have indications that they have reached for weapons. Batty's come back and he's perched across the way to give you a good vantage point. And with his thermal, he can see the coolness of some type of blade, knives underneath their cloaks.
Gotcha. With my detective of like nearly, or I would say well beyond Sherlock Holmes level, what can I tell about these people? What are they doing? What are they running from? What are they carrying?
You look them up and down quickly as they come. This is all happening in a microsecond before any type of speech or conversation happens between you, the party, and their party and your party. If you had to make a guess, just looking at it, you see the four armed beings who seem fairly similarly dressed. Probably some type of guards or some type of escort of some sort. However, not armed in the way that given you've been fighting so many people with guns recently, there's no guns, there's not like heavy armor or anything like that. They seem to be simply dressed, just the indication of those blades. You notice that the taller individual seems to have a little bit nicer travel garbs, a little more finery on. You don't notice any dirt or anything like that. The being with the cybernetic adaptations gives you the looking her over you would guess not doing much. You don't see any indications of banging on the cybernetics or any type of hardening on either the face or the one arm that you do see that has gotcha. Skin. Merchant something along that line. They don't give a clear indication.
The pink-haired cyborg is the protected individual, the VIP?
It seems to be that both of them are being much more flanked by those four, we'll call them guards.
They're not carrying any bags that would...
The female is carrying a bag.
Oh, looks like it's packed full of wares or just like a little travel bag?
Decently packed full of wares. So you have that, this you get all in a moment as you quickly assess how they look as they come around the corner. And the larger tusked individual comes around and a smile goes across their face. The big tusks kind of stick out. Goes, "Oh there."
Hail, friend. Pryo takes a couple steps forward. He looks at Danus to make sure Danus is not brandishing the sniper rifle in a dangerous way.
Imagine a not pointing at someone, never want to have an itchy trigger finger, but just slightly cocked down, so less time to get it up.
Pryo, you notice that the guards do take note of Danus's movement. However, they don't react or in any way. You just see the slight movement of the head taking note of what's going on. And as the female comes around the corner and seems to have been talking to the guard, even though there's no indication the guard was interacting with her, she looks around, she goes, "People! Oh, great!"
Pryo nods. He takes down his mask and smiles.
"Oh, Zdeno, this is going to be great! More people!"
I'm John. This is Shooter.
"It's nice to make your acquaintance. Did not expect to find travelers coming through here." "Well, I was traveling through," the female keeps talking. "Maybe they're looking for... Are you merchants?" "I'm a merchant. I'm doing great things." "Maybe you've heard..." For a second, she gives you a hard look up and down. "Well, it doesn't look like... Have you heard of Berry Bunny Bars?"
I don't know, GM, have I?
Roll memory. Both of you can roll memory.
Oh,
I know I have.
You have.
Yes, it was tossed away from me.
Mm-hmm. Someone had a gut reaction to throw it away quite violently.
Pryo can't recall that right now.
All right. What's your memory? What did you roll?
It's 80, but I rolled 93. I say no. We're treasure hunters. We were told that there was an ancient ruin around here that we were going to investigate.
Oh, Zdeno, that's your stuff. Yoel is indeed correct. Are you searching for the lost treasure of Akin? The three eyes narrow and look at you. When he says the name, you do remember it brings up some inkling of that is what some people had called the area, that some had considered it a temple of some sort, and the name Akin does ring throughout someone else's memory? Your memory? The memory?
Pryo says, possibly. It could have been called that. He gets 53 critical on acting.
I see. Well, then
I'm not sure.
What treasure are you looking for?
If it was this Akin place, which direction would it be?
Well, he looks to the two of the guards to the side. Well, the tales say that there is enough treasure for all of us, so you're clearly able fighters. He looks particularly at Danus, who has a gun.
Yeah.
Well, not to say that your guards aren't. Pryo tries to be as gallant as possible.
Oh, well, you do what you can in the Outer Rims.
Pryo nods his head, thinks, so we're still in the Outer Rims, whatever that is. Neat.
Perhaps we can, team up for a short amount of time. At least to make it there.
Pryo looks at the captain of the guards, or his guards, to see how they take that news.
You see no reaction over their faces. They also had brought down the masks over their faces.
Not a bad idea.
We just found this one here. The young female who he calls Yoel smiles. Yeah, guys, I was lost. But Zdeno here is my hero. I'm trying to get to Worknish. Have you heard of it? You can both roll memory.
I rolled a 6.
10. It is a success, but I've been like half sheltered, so I don't know.
The way that there's for Pryo, you have a slight echo. Having communed with Tak for a moment, you have a slight echo of some sort of way that Worknish is connected to something to do with the Dark One. You're not clear exactly how. Danus, as far as you heard and know, it's a mine. some sort of mining facility. For some reason, it was abandoned. You feel like some of the people in Atheon are from there, maybe, but it was so long ago. It's those stories that have been repeated and repeated and repeated. The female, the young-looking girl stands in front of you. Have you heard of it? Do you know
possibly.
where it is?
I'm afraid not from here. No.
Well, I'm working on starting my own business. And customers. Okay. She goes to take her bag off her shoulder for a second, and Zdeno stops her. Perhaps not right now is the best time. We should be moving in case there's anything crawling about. Yeah. Okay. It's gonna be a great adventure, though.
Pryo kind of smiles and nods.
Zdeno sort of turns to say something to the guards, and Yoel reaches into her pocket and hands you each a little pamphlet.
No.
On the front of the pamphlet, you see this.
Whoa.
That's
awesome. That's awesome. That is way more twisted than I thought. The Berry Bunny Bar. Okay, cool.
She says, "You can ask me questions later. I've just taken on this area and I'm looking for my own niche. So I do have bars if you need them later. Just put it away, okay?" Zdeno turns back around. She turns and smiles.
I'll take a look later.
Okay, he looks at her disapprovingly.
Very well, Zdeno. What kind of deal do you want to strike?
Whoa.
Fair trade. You show us where the treasure is. We help guard. 50-50.
He looks you up and down. Since I'm the one who knows where the location is, I feel perhaps a more equitable deal would be 70-30. 70 to me, of course. Otherwise, you'll be wandering around like this one.
And seeing that we're the ones with the guns, maybe 60-40 might be a little bit more equitable.
He looks at you briefly for a moment displeased, then he smiles, his tusks come up.
Pryo also smiles.
Well, all right then. A deal is struck. Puts his large, meaty hand out to you.
Okay, Pryo claps it.
Okay, you shake.
Well, I like to know the names of the men I'm operating with. I'm John. He holds his hand out to one of the guards.
Okay, you see the guards look. They kind of nod. One reaches out to shake your hand. It's got quite a yellow skin with green mottling on top. He says, Zdeno says, This is Xenox.
Xenox? I nod.
Are they wearing red shirts? I gotta ask.
The other three have actually kind of moved off and a bit around, and you can tell that they're keeping watch and looking about. The only one who has stayed there is Xenox. They all work for me.
Did they come from yon town? 2 points.
You are definitely new to this place, aren't you? It's not well, we're looking for a place to take some respite. Would you like to check it out? It's not quite a town anymore. It's the remnants of the outlaw base from the last Guardian War.
Really?
He points. You can see the remnants of the battle. They lost, of course. But that's what you get for fighting the Praetors. So we stay out here, start up our own businesses. Don't worry about fighting over anything important. We just live, get what we can, enjoy it while we can.
His words don't, like, I come from a totally different background, so it's like, yeah, all right, good for you, buddy. Like,
okay. Anyways, let's get moving. If you do want to travel to Akin, I do have a way. We're pretty sure it's this way. However, I will warn you, we've been told there are great beasts that guard the entrance.
There usually are. Pryo laughs.
He's indicating that you have to go this way.
So the opposite way they were going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Why is that exactly?
You look puzzled. Dano looks at you. When you come across a gift from Gaia, you take advantage. We were escorting this one out. She's supposed to pay us once we got her out. However, if we come upon you, we might as well get going. We can drag her along. She talks a lot. I don't know if you've ever been with someone like that.
We look at each other. We must. It's got to happen. We have that moment of like, oh, she doesn't talk that much.
Very well.
It's okay. I'm great. I'm super useful. If you need energy or a really plucky spirit.
Priest says, I'm sure. He smiles. Says, well, then we better use some of that pluck and get going.
All right, you join this new party. You start to turn. Pryo, can you roll detective, please?
Okie dokie. Is there any minus? 40. That's a critical success.
All right, you turn. You're always assessing people. You notice that there's not really any discussion between the guards. They just kind of look at each other and motion and kind of gesture. You haven't heard them speak really at all. You almost wonder if they might be unable to speak or if there's some sort of mental communication going on. The other thing you do notice is you turn to go, Batty has been above, circling and looking around. He's noticed that on the ridge across from where you were, and then as he circled on the ridge across to where the entrance to the rebel cavern is, there's a bunch of rocks, but then he noticed the glint of metal, of some sort of tech.
I have him go take a closer look.
As he gets closer, you see some sort of camera type observation device up in there. It looks quite old.
Oh. Is it focused on us?
It's difficult to tell. He would have to kind of try to move the rocks, and they're quite large. All he sees is that glint of some metal and then sees the camera lens. It does move, but you can't tell exactly what it's focused on.
And does Batty see any other activity?
A note, just notice those two cameras.
Okay, well, I'll have Batty keep an eye on that kind of stuff, what's going on.
You start to make your way through. Zendano's guards do know where to go. They lead you through quite expertly. Roll detective.
Alrighty. I rolled 59 out of, again, 495.
You are impressed with their ability to pick through. You suspect that they must have traveled through this area, or at least this type of landscape before.
All right. That was also my belief, so there's no point in me trying to lead when they know the way to go.
I'd be in the back next to Pryo, probably doing our wonderful chat. We're probably talking about nothing. Just a good, solid silence. Comfortable.
You have moved up this way. The camera is up in this general direction, looking down this ravine.
Any heat sources from hidden gun emplacements or anything like that?
+1. Good thinking. Nope, there's no heat sources of any sort. There's no particular UV you can see. He is circling decently high. The one thing he will give you is that there has been travel through here at some point. Again, that same type of travel you saw earlier.
Then I presume, the Pryo just presumes that's the surveillance system of the remnants of the rebel army, into which they are apparently all dead. So we don't, many thousands of years ago, we have nothing to worry about.
Then you head forward. Again, you make your way through these strange, enormous bones. As you've approached them, particularly you, Danus, who marveled at them earlier, they are huge. They're about 100 feet. When the creature was alive at some point, you're walking through the rib cage and it towers way, way above you. It's, they're bent around. You can see some have been blasted from old battle. Definitely there's been some kind of damage to them throughout the eons, but as you said earlier, you don't have a lot of time to sit and inspect them at great length, and you continue on. It seems that Zendeno's party knows where they're going and lead you quite expertly through the maze of bones and cracks in the earth and destruction. And ahead you see some rock all piled up, and you realize the edge of the Gaia horizon has come down, and there's a triangle door, something similar to what you had been through in another land.
Okay. Pryo makes his way to the front.
Do you feel you know what you're doing here with the Gaia tech?
I'll try to muddle through.
All right then. He smiles.
Now, you said there was tracks that came into this ravine. Did they go all the way up to this all the way up to this triangular portal?
They do indeed.
Are they recent?
Roll.
72 out of 495.
Yes, they are. There seems to be enough tracks that it seems to have been decently traveled over a good stretch of period of time, and there are recent ones because there's been no movement or disturbing as if wind would have gone over them to stop them. Zdeno comes up behind you. Have you found something?
Only that our super secret hidden runes are not so super secret hidden.
Katie leans over, he looks. No, that is troubling. Perhaps they got the treasure already.
Or perhaps there never was any to begin with.
Please roll detective.
That's 46 out of, again, 495.
They seem to be similar to tracks you've been walking behind for some time.
Do I see the remnants of biomatter fluorescing under UV that I might have recognized?
You do see smears of UV on the panel that would let you in and out of the maintenance access. And there is a smear of a familiar UV of an individual's hand you shook just some time ago. The guard.
Okay, Pryo looks at it.
Okay. Danus, you're at the very back of the party still?
Oh yeah, I've seen bombs. I've seen these things. Not like no, I don't need to be right next to the gate. I mean, like I said, in case something goes wrong, then I can see the majority of the party.
You have started to see familiarness in Pryo, where he's looking quite closely, and you may roll your sixth sense.
I have a 34, not a critical, but it is a success.
And then you notice that the guards have slightly tensed a bit, just the slightest bit, and it just sets off that tingle that you get up your spine that something's slightly off.
All right, okay. Are they looking forward or are they looking at me?
You see two had been kind of maneuvering a bit back, seemingly not looking at you. However, now that you're keyed to it, they definitely seem to be trying to position themselves close to you, while the other two are moving towards Pryo.
Oh, man. Oh, I hate this. I never want to be the one to shoot first. Oh, okay. Then if they're trying to move backward, then I'll play the game. I'll take a couple steps backward, but I will line my pistol right up.
All right, Pryo spins on his heel. He walks up. He pulls down his mask. He pulls the cloak off. He goes, yeah, I don't know. It's this Gaia tech stuff, who can understand it? Okay, well, and while he's complaining and walking up, he'll walk right up to where Xanax is.
Okay, please roll your acting.
Sure. Pryo's acting, made for scenarios exactly like this, is 441. I roll 34.
Okay, you kind of move past Zdeno, who was standing with you and kind of watching what you were doing. It gives you kind of a puzzled, quizzical look as you bragged about knowing what was going on, and then suddenly you turn and he goes, oh, well, it happens to the best of us. And at that moment, we can all roll surprise.
Do I need to roll surprise? Well, I don't know what's happening.
I get a critical success.
The guard captain, such as he is closer to you. Yoel is stuck in between the party, stuck in between the different guards.
All right, Pryo walks up and he's like, "Oh, this damn technology! You can never tell when it's going to punch you in the face." And I get critical and blinding strike, and I'm going to punch Xenox in the face.
Alrighty, you move lightning fast, and with an equal quickness, the guard captain responds. You both fly at each other with fists raised, as you clearly see his other hand going for his knife.
Oh, well.
Okay. This is my first time going full attack, so let's see how this happens. Yeah, I know.
All right. The two guards facing you, Danus, were seemingly to be looking kind of at nothing, and then suddenly both faces, cloaked and hooded faces, turn directly at you and go to move. Pryo, please go.
All right, I'm going to punch him in the head to knock him out, and I will force a tug of war.
You will.
560.
Your fist launches out. You almost feel the burning of the air as you slice through it faster than any being should. He goes to move as fast as he can, yet you have launched all your being towards him, and you hit him squarely into the jaw. You feel the jaw kind of crack. You see a explosion of colored light all around him, as if he's wearing some type of protective device. However, it doesn't seem to completely protect him, as it blinks off with the full impact of your punch.
That's for mental, so I'm trying to knock him out. 200 mental points.
He falls backwards towards the wall and reaches out, and then you see his eyes roll back in his head as the shield that was trying to protect him flickers, and he slumps down. You have the guard beside him. I spin into a back heel hook, and the back of my heel hits him in the temple. At least that's the plan. 43, that's critical. You come around, and you spin backwards. You bring the back of your heel towards him to hit him in around the head or the upper area, and he's reaching for his knife. He actually ducks underneath, and you spin around lightning fast. Your foot actually comes back down on the ground before he's even totally unsheathed the knife. There's more where that came from. Then a left cross comes following that. He's trying to pull that knife out, and it seems to be stuck in the sheath on his cloak, where he'd had it, he thought, quite hidden quite well. He's pulling it up, and you come down with a left punch and clock him right into the chest. It seems to almost, you see that shielding the same as the guard, the captain had shimmer for a bit, but it does not enough, and you feel the bones in the chest kind of crunch and crack beneath your fist, and he slumps down to the ground as some green, you're assuming blood or fluids, start to trickle out, as well as some odd blackness in amongst the green blood.
I look at this black weird crap as Danus, hopefully, shoots those other dudes.
Danus, you see this kind of happen in a lightning moment ahead of you, and then you've got your pistol out. You see them both for their knives and coming straight at you.
One on the left end, first shot, 24. Okay, that is a critical for my first.
As you're looking and you're acting casual, knowing something was up, they come running towards you, they spurt, and you have the gun. Actually, you were standing just like as if it was nothing, but it's right at them, and you just squeeze the trigger. The guard's whole body seems to shake. You see that fluctuation of color shielding go off. You're familiar with some shieldings, you've seen it before. However, the bullet still gets through it and hits him through the chest. You see also this green kind of liquidy blood come out mixed with some black sort of ichor. The other guard is fully still focused on you and moving forward, however.
43, which out of 180 is a critical, so 120 damage.
Nice. Good job. Nice criticals. Okay, you just shoot him and then turn, shoot the next guy. You see the shield flicker a bit. This one seemed to almost run into you without any care as to even trying to dodge. And you shoot him right through the neck area. He gets blown sort of back onto the wall and falls down. You see that blood and blackness go. Okay, you see that Yoel has screamed and ducked down to kind of ball up.
I will turn my sights to the other man up front with the tusks, just to, if they're going to make a move. I guess that's what I would do.
Yoel, as I said, has crouched down. She's screamed. She's dropped her bag of berry bunny bars, and she's hunched over. Zdeno has launched himself closer to the maintenance access hatch door over here. However, there's nothing to hide behind, but he's kind of cowered back as Pryo had killed this one. There's a dead body here. You've got a dead body. Everybody's got a dead body.
For all Zdeno knows, we've double crossed him, killed his guards, and now we're about to kill them for the treasure. For all they know, so
I don't. Well, Danus is just. Yep.
Danus has lived a sheltered life. We've established this before.
That's right.
And his dad is twitchy and tells him, shoot people. So
indeed. So
Yoel's just
what is the deal with this goo coming out of them?
Black goo, you say? Okay. You come in close. Zdeno is madly bashing at the crystal that would give you access into the maintenance hatch. Yoel is pulled up against the wall and is kind of covering herself and weeping. Okay. Surprisingly, Zdeno stops. He looks at you. He's breathing heavy. You see his mouth is quite open. Those big tusks are shooting out. He goes, "What?" Gay just seems more taken aback than anything, as you have slaughtered all the guards. Okay.
So is the black goo just pooling there like a weird kind of blood, or?
It's odd. It actually, as you look in closer to it, you see the blood that's coming out that's clearly the fluid of the guards. And this black goo moves. It's almost, imagine black mercury. It starts to move and slither down. You see it actually start to move and coalesce. Pieces of it start coming together and start moving towards your foot.
Okay, I move away.
Okay, you pull back. Some of the other blood has moved off and is heading towards Yoel. It seems to have pooled up against the back of the wall of the ravine and is traveling down towards her as she's trying to hide herself, crying.
Prio's backing up and saying, wait. They had betrayed you, Zdeno. Yoel, look.
She doesn't look up. She just seems to be crying and hunkered down.
Okay, with a 36, I put her in a force field.
Ooh, nice. Okay, force field goes around her. She starts crying more. Clearly worried you plan to kill her. The black goo hits up. You see it hit up and start to go up the edge of the force field. You feel a drain on the mental capacity it takes to keep it up. And then the black goo seems to go down and just absorb into the rock.
Okay. All right. Prio's like, okay, Pryo looks at Zdeno. Did anything get on him?
He doesn't look like anything's been near him in any form. He's looking. He did, however, see what you pointed to and has seemed to relax a bit. And he's like, you do not mean to attack us. What? Something was wrong with my guards. He seems to be stating the obvious, mostly to himself.
Okay, I look over to Danus.
Kind of like this. When he looks over, I'll give a wave.
Those ones have black goo.
They do, Danus. When you look down, you look at the bullet holes, which is a much cleaner kill than the smashing that Pryo did. You saw black ooze out, but it seems to have gone directly under the bodies, and you see it dissipate and disappear into the ground.
Yep, black goo. Look at the other one. Yep, black goo. Yeah.
Something had taken your guards, Zdeno. And they were lying to you. They'd already been here.
Already been here?
I can see into the UV. Their biomatter was fluorescing on the pad.
Then thank Gaia you were here to come with us. He looks down at them.
Okay, Pryo walks around gingerly, but he goes over to the force field.
Yoel is still cowered over. She seems to be just talking to herself.
Okay, Pryo goes, shoot her, cover him. He points to the man he knocked out.
Okay.
Fantastic. I kind of do the step over, 1 foot on, other, so if they're going to move, they're underneath my body weight.
I use empathy.
Nice.
I rolled 78 out of 425. That's a critical.
Okay, she is, you slowly put motions forth and go out towards her mind. You enter it carryingly with with some empathy. No, in a ginger carrying way. Inside her mind, you just see a landscape of bubbles and berry bunny bars and dancing rabbits in there. Everything seems to be upset, however, and you calm it down. You see everything sort of settle. The little rabbits sit and calm down. Oh.
Fight's over. Okay, I drop the force field.
I haven't been around any dead bodies.
I turn my attention to to our captive. A white phoenix goes over his face.
Okay.
And I use telepathy. I get 49 out of 425.
There's just sort of black shadows and black ichor everywhere. You do seem to see some glints of what you think are almost eyes here or there in the mind, whether or not that's his representation of himself. But mostly you find a sleeping mind. Yep, Batty was above, kind of looking down back behind you. He's at the crest of the top of the plateau where this ravine is at its height and does not see anything. He does, however, see the slightest bit of movement in that camera, the one that's perched at the end of the entrance to this ravine.
It's turned to be watching us in here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what to make of that, if it's just remnants of the war many years ago or... Okay, Pryo says, where'd you meet these men?
Use the job board. Danus, you're familiar with the Gaia job board. You know that it's a network of connections where people can put any kind of job they need for anything they want, be it assassin to friend, and people can respond to different jobs.
Well, your men have been here previously.
That's what it does seem to be, doesn't it?
What do you know about this black ooze that came out of them? Anything?
Definitely did not look healthy. Do you?
I don't know, GM, do I?
Your mind echoes of something related to the Dark One.
I think it has to do with the ruins. There's a myth of darkness. I suspect these ones are some kind of servants of it, protecting it. A treasure, or he trails off.
Oh God, I am super tense. I am just I'm staring down the barrel breathe, USOB, breathe.
Pryo was amused.
We're just gonna stay out here.
For a moment. Okay, can I jar him awake with my telepathy?
you really felt when you went in there before, there was nothing going on that you could access. It was just this kind of black nothing sphere. It's almost as if the mind had been blackened, and I don't mean by you putting him out, but perhaps by this black ichor that was inside him.
Under my breath, I mumble some of this to Danus so he kind of understands what I'm experiencing when I try to access his mind.
Okay. Does that mean we just... Okay, well...
Plug him. Okay.
Boom, 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 boom.
+1 to you both. That was hilarious.
Okay, Pryo turns.
Okay, Yoel's eyes look huge again at you, and you recognize a fear that perhaps she worries she's next.
This is about to get much more dangerous. Are you sure you don't want to go to work, Nish? Or somewhere safe?
Well, now that you mention it, if you know how to get there.
Okay. With a flash of white phoenix and white phoenix wings that go around her, if she doesn't roll a saving throw, she's teleported to Belize.
+1, she clearly doesn't resist as the phoenix goes out and envelops her, and she seems to be gone. Zdeno looks at you again, hard.
Okay,
all three eyes kind of size you up and down again.
Pryo turns and looks at him and says, still interested in that treasure? Or should I send you away as well?
If you mean you want to fight, I don't want to fight. If you mean you want to get the treasure.
No, we don't want to fight. I'm like stretching it out, like, because I've been super tense for the last,
You're doing yoga bits.
Oh yeah. I'm just in the background, big smile on my face, like glad that's over.
Pryo holds up his hands and says, I gave you my words, Zdeno. 60-40. But I don't think this will be the last of these kinds of possessed individuals we'll meet.
Okay, he smiles, a big tusk stick out. Well then, hopefully it's good treasure they're guarding. He turns.
I have a question for the GM.
Yes.
So, when they're bleeding,
yes,
or when they're excreting fluid, let's say that, it's just this thick black ichor, right?
The black ichor came out and was quite thick and mobile. Think oil meets mercury. That's how it moves and goes out, and it just disappeared and left.
I walk up and say, "Hey, sorry, been quiet. Name's Shooter. Nice to meet you." And I put my hand out and see if he's gonna clasp it or not.
He's turned and seems to be trying to open the door.
Get right up in his face.
He's going, he moves back.
I'm that guy, like, hey there.
+1.
Okay, he's madly, of course, the pad for which you know is a smaller triangle door. He's hammering away on all the different crystals, trying to get the key out. And he's like,
I shut it and say, we need to be acquainted if we're going to go forward. Shooter.
Yeah, Zdeno. We've met already. Do you remember back there?
I know, but I want to embrace you as a friend, and we've got a smaller party now. We can be, we can grow bigger bonds.
Okay, he seems to be a little taken aback by you pulling back. He looks at Pryo and you, the black.
Fine, I tackle him.
What the hell? Okay, Pryo walks up and just puts his hand on Danus and says to Zdeno, "Don't worry, he's weird."
Yeah, I still tackle him. I go for my knife and I'm gonna try and give him a paper cut.
Okay.
What are you doing?
Okay, so unless I misunderstood, which this is going to be a real funny situation if I did, as soon as someone gets injured, there's remnants of this black ichor mixed with whatever else they would have excreted. It sounds gross to say that, but you know what I mean. So I want to give him a paper cut to see if there's any hint of black ichor, so we can be done with a backstabbing right now, or if I just want to see. It's for science.
It's for science. Okay, you go to tackle him. roll your coordination to attack him.
Coordination is 150.
Okay.
And I've got a 28. That's a critical.
Nice. Sadly,
God.
Zdeno seems to be quite fleet of foot and pulls back. He pulls his hands up, kind of.
Pryo also has his hand up. Says, wait, whoa.
What is going on?
Attack dog.
You're like,
I take my knife out. I put my hand up. I say, when they bleed, you see black. And I like nick my thumb.
What?
I'm gonna nick you.
Shooter, I do not know. You are not going to cut me.
Give me your thumb.
Okay. Pryo goes, pushes the knife, pushes him back, says,
Okay.
I have other ways of doing that.
Oh, what? I am so sorry. And I put the knife away. I look at you like, what? Okay, where were you when I'm...
Pryo shakes his head.
You have almost broke the GM today. Oh my God.
He
starts backing a little bit away from you guys, has put some space in between you and
Pryo turns around to Zdeno and says, I apologize for my crazy friend. However, he does have a point. He pulls Kukri out, cuts his forearm.
Look, I'm glad you're all into whatever you're into.
He hands him the butt end first. He says, cut your arm. No black stuff.
He looks back behind him, remembers the fight that just happened.
I say, or I can go into your head. Your choice.
I take it back. He takes the knife. It was a terrible day. I met you too. Okay. He just pinpricks kind of the end of his thumb. You see purple fluid, which seems to be his blood, come out.
That's it? Oh, man. See, that was so easy. Hey, don't you feel better?
Flips the knife quite quickly and gives it back to you.
Says, all right. Now that we know we're all not made of black goo, if you want to continue, we're happy to continue. The offer's still open to send you somewhere else if that's where you want to go.
This is my treasure. The three eyes kind of not flash scary, but like open wide.
Well, 60% your treasure.
They're horrible people.
This was a weird day, as I muddled to myself. What a weird day. You meet friends under weird circumstances. Yeah, I tell you what, as I'm playing with the stuff, I look back. He and I, we met under worse circumstances. Now look at us. Okay, so I give it a go. Hey, I need a 145.
Nice.
Hey, 61.
Typically, people, when they're trying to break in, listen and click, you are just like, I'm going to move this crystal here, this crystal there. We're kind of cross wire. Very tinkery way of doing it. The door, you hear a poof, and then the door opens, slides open. Some cool, musty kind of, the same sort of air you had when you went into the maintenance access with the little bots in the water area. That same sort of metally smell. This has got a much more of a musk to it, but you start to see that same metal corridor going down. Okay, Batty comes down.
And what does Batty see down there on my shoulder?
You see a long corridor. You look down the tunnel. It goes for some time, and then there's a T-junction like that ahead of you. At the end here, you see clearly metal has been moved and restructured. You see the Gaia structure and some crystals exposed, but all the crystals are quite dead. You can see this through Batty's vision. Pryo is what you're seeing. You see like a cool kind of mist is on the floor that kind of billows here and there. And the Gaia structure has been moved and toyed with, but that's as far as you.
Do I see any traps? Do I see any more footprints? Do I see any more signs of habitation?
Well, roll your detective and tell me what you get.
78.
There's a lot of this mist, low think creepy movie Graveyard Mist.
Oh, great.
Little mist kind of swirling and undulating, almost as if it was alive. It gives the impression it is. It undulates and moves. It does clear here and there, particularly now that the door is open. It's blowing away further. The wind from where you are down the ravine is blowing it. You do see tracks back and forth. However, the mist has collected at the end. You can't see that far. The same tracks you had been seeing going in and out along the way.
Okay, Pryo looks at Zdeno. Still want that treasure?
They didn't look that rich to me. Did they look that rich to you?
Not really.
Then that means it's still there. I'll go first. Okay, he starts walking.
Say, really should be careful for traps.
You look around. You don't see any indications, any heat or any indications of traps per se. Just a straight shoot through.
Okay, that's good to know.
May I look specifically for any sort of a camera?
+1. Danus, you, Pryo had walked through with Zdeno a bit ahead. This is the doorway right here. They've kind of moved a little bit.
Sure.
Up here. You come through and you kind of stop and think for a moment that there had been all these cameras, and you look, and on the wall behind you, you look up and you do see a little camera lens.
Son